Hi there, prepare to be captivated by an unparalleled journey into the heart of creating VMs in your K3S Kubernetes cluster in a Proxmox home lab server. In this video, we create a K3S Kubernetes cluster in the VMs of your Proxmox home lab, using an Ansible Server VM in Proxmox first. Our Kubernetes and Ansible expert will demonstrate a unique way of creating a K3S Kubernetes HA cluster, utilizing the remarkable tool, Ansible. We provide you with a GitHub project, saving you much time doing this. Nico will then give you his recommendation for how to do this, allowing you to maintain the project in your laptop and publish it, ultimately to your Ansible VM. You will now be empowered to create K3S clusters in your Proxmox home lab. We will provide you with a link to our installing an Ansible in a VM in your Proxmox home lab. So, buckle up, and expect to be amazed by this brilliant video. Now, without further ado, allow me to introduce you to our Ansible and Kubernetes expert Nico, please. Note that Nico has a Dodecanese accent, but he speaks the Queen's English fluently. Over to you, Nico.
Thank you, Josh. Hi there. What we are going to do today is something that hasn't been done before. I have a unique way of creating a Kubernetes cluster, and I have converted the process to run with Ansible Playbooks. I'm going to be using Kubernetes K3S as my Kubernetes. Based on that technology, I have created shell scripts which my playbooks are going to generate. So let's go and look at this. The information for this project is available in our blog. This URL is available as a link below. Please have a look down there and find it. And we would like to recommend that you create this project with us. So follow us step by step and do it on your side. The first thing I need to do is to open my Proxmox. So here's my Proxmox server. I open it through the browser, and you will notice that I've got 4 VMs running here. Well, if you haven't noticed it, these little terminal signs with a green arrow here represents running VMs. So I've got 4. The first one is the semaphore, or in our case, the Ansible server. And from this Ansible server, I'm going to be running the scripts. Then the servers are named by their IP address. So this server is 10.154.2. and then the last number is 80. And then 81, 83, and this server is .95. It's my naming convention. It helps me identify my servers in VMs from the IP addresses, because you need to SSH to them. So let us now go and SSH to the Ansible server. And the instructions you'll find on the web page. I'm going to go here. So this is the command I will run. When you create the VMs, you determine the IP address and consequently and the logon name as well. So that is your privilege, but this is my way of doing things. So I'm connecting now to my Ansible server. I need to do everything on here. Now I need to be logged in as root, not as Nick M. So I do the sudo su dash and logging in. Right, I'm now logged in as root. Now I need to go and create an opt/K3S folder. So copy this command, paste. I will get an error because I've already got it. I've already created it. But that's fine, and then you go and change directory to that folder. I have a Git project. I'll provide a link below. Let me open it on the internet. So this is my project, and if you go here to code, this URL, if you click copy, this is the URL I'll be using. So I will run git clone, and then that URL there. I'm not going to press enter. I've already cloned this project, so I'm just going to do Control C, and if we do a ls-la, there it is. So that's what you will get. Now we need to go inside that project, cd, c, tab, enter. We've done all these steps. Now let's have a look. When I created this project, it had a structure. So if you have tree installed, you can just run the tree command. And it will give you the structure of the project. I've got files with 2 files in there. I've got an inventory folder with a production folder with an inventory file in there. Playbooks. I've got 2 major folders in my playbook. This is the create scripts. What these playbooks are going to do is they're going to write shell scripts on those nodes. So if we go back to here, these 3 servers here, we are going to create shell scripts on them so that when we run these shell scripts, we can create the Kubernetes cluster. So that's going to be the first set of shell scripts that I create. Then I'm also going to create a second set of shell scripts. If you look here, these are the Ansible playbooks that start with destroy. So the idea is that these shell scripts are used to create the scripts on the servers to create the cluster, and then these shell scripts are used to create shell scripts on the server to remove the nodes from the cluster. So if I remove all the nodes, I basically destroy my cluster. So that's the create K3S scripts folder. The next folder is the run folder. This is going to run playbooks that will create nodes in the cluster. And then when I am finished, I will run the terminate playbooks. I will run them in the reverse order that I created the cluster. And with that, I will have been able to create a cluster, test it, and destroy it. So now let's go ahead and connect to our server. Now we are going to go into the folder, this folder here. Let's follow the instructions. You will also notice that I have an inventory file over here. When you clone this project, you will need that information, and in your case, you will need to edit this. So let me run this command. And now we have the inventory file. This is the content of it. Now you will see here that I have a primary master node, and then there's only one machine, it's this one. And then I have a other master node over here. And there's only one machine, that's Giraffe, that's the second one, IP81. And then further down, I have worker nodes. It should be worker node. Doesn't matter, it's fine. And there I have the third VM, IP83. That is my inventory. You will need this inventory because you are now going to create a default inventory file on your server. copy. I should already have content in there because I was testing this. But in your case, when you run nano and this command, it will be an empty file. And then what you will do is you will copy the content of the inventory as I have it here. And paste it into here. There it is. That's the content of the inventory that you would paste. Now, in your case, because my IP addresses start with 10.154.2, your network might start with a different IP address range, which is fine. So you will then edit these. And you will also notice here that my VMs have a FQDN, fully qualified domain name. I've actually used a service called DynoDNS. I can try and open it. If you Google to DynoDNS, there it is. And this is a service that gives you 4 free domain names for 4 IP addresses. And that's the IP addresses I have here. So that's DynoDNS. You're welcome to look at it and use it. Okay, now that we've done that, we will want to save this. Control S, Control X. X to save, X to exit. What's unique about the way I do Kubernetes, no one else does, is the name of the node is what I give it and not the IP address or the server name. So this is a much better way of creating Kubernetes clusters. I just wish the other people would have watched my videos and used this because it's really nice. After you have cloned this project, there are 2 more things you need to do. Firstly, you need to delete the Git folder so that you can create your own local Git repository. So I'm going to open the server where we downloaded this. By the way, I recommend a variation and you will see why later. This is exactly what I have done. You need to clone this project on your laptop or PC computer. The reason for that is that you want to be able to make changes from your laptop or computer using an IDE. Now, I like Atom, but I also have VS Code, and I recommend you use VS Code. In my laptop, I have created a OPT projects folder, and in there I have cloned this project. So if I do ls-la, there you can see the project. You need to delete the Git folder. So that is the command I would run on my machine. But since I've been working on this, I don't want to do that, so I'm not going to run it. But that's the command you would run. If you're using Linux or Mac, if you're using Windows, well then it's easy. You can go in File Explorer, find that folder and just delete it. Having done that, then we have some steps we need to follow. Firstly, you need to then generate a new local Git repository. So this is the command you would run, git init. Likewise, I'm not going to run this command, and then this would generate a local repository. After that, you run this command. This is going to add all the content that is now in the folder to your local repository. You can run this command, that's fine. And then you need to give it a git commit message. So most people use the initial commit. So copy that, paste it in here, and run it. There will be nothing for me to do, as it says my branch is up to date. But in your case, it will now add all the files of the project to your local repository. After doing that, then you need to go to your Git server. Now, it depends on what you're using. If your server is a Git or a GitHub or a GitLab or a Bitbucket server, you need to go there and create a project. When you've created the project, they will provide you with instructions how to do that. Then you need to push this local repository to that Git server. Now that we've done that, we are now able to open this in our IDE. So there I have opened the project in my IDE. As I mentioned earlier, I use Atom, but you can use VS Code. This is now the first step. The next step you need to do is to go to your Ansible server. You need to create a folder opt-k3s. And then there you need to git clone, but clone your repository, not my repository. For me it was easy because I could clone my repository on both machines. But for you, you need to clone your repository here, so that as you make changes on your laptop and push them, you would go here and you would say git pull, and it'll bring the changes down. So on the Ansible server, you have cloned the project. Here it is. And having cloned the project, I can now pull every time I make changes on my laptop to this project. And this is a necessary step that is in the documentation we provided that you need to do before you can work with this project. One thing I must advise you, when you work with your Ansible project, you may note that I'm using the root when accessing the folder opt-k3s. So you need to log in as root. Now on an Ubuntu server you can't do that. So the command you would run would be sudo su-. I'm not going to run that command as I'm already root. And then you would go to the folder. There's the command to take me to this folder. And now I can say git pull. And there were no changes made to the project, so it told me that the project is already up to date. But as you edit with your IDE, because in this project you are going to make changes to the tokens, so that you will do on your laptop or PC computer, and you would make the changes here, and then you would push your changes to your Git repository server. And then after doing that, then you would do a git pull to bring it into the Ansible server so that you can run these playbooks. We are now going to create the shell scripts needed to create a Kubernetes K3S cluster. This will generate 3 shell scripts on 3 of the nodes for this project. The first shell script will be on the primary master node. The second will be on the second master node. And the third will be on the first worker node. If we look at our Proxmox, you can see that we have 3 VMs here. This is the primary master, and it's called primary master 80, and then master node 81, and then worker node 83. So those are the 3 VMs on which we are going to create the shell scripts. We have to go into this folder here, copy the command, paste, and we are there. I need to open another tab in my terminal for this, and I need to SSH to the Ansible server. So it's root at 10, no, nickm, sorry. It's nickm at 10.154.2.95. I should have this command here. We need to switch user as root. So sudo su dash. And now we can go to that folder. Now if we look in this folder, you will see that we have 3 create YAML files. These are the playbooks that create shell scripts on the 3 servers, and 3 destroy YAML files. These create the shell scripts to destroy the Kubernetes cluster. And then we have this YAML file, which is the command we are going to run. With this command, we will generate all these files on all the servers where we need them. So let's go back here. I'm going to use the diagnostic command with www. You can use this command, but when you create your system, it's advisable to use this one because you may have networking issues if you forgot to add your user from your Ansible server. There's 2 users that we need to get to work. There's a nickm user, and then there's an Ansible user, and you need to be able to SSH to all your node VM servers from the Ansible server with those users without password. So that needed to be done to get to this stage. I'll remind you how I did that afterwards. So let's run the command. I'm running it in verbose mode, so you can see a lot of blue text on the screen. And that was the purpose of these Ansible playbooks. Now that we've done them, we need to now go and connect to the server. So I'm first going to connect to the primary master node. So let me open a new tab, SSH, nickm at 10.154.2.80. And that was this server here. Let's open Proxmox. This server here, it's called primary master, and you see there 80. I always do that so that I know that I'm connecting. The last number in my IP address is the IP of this server. And then likewise, I need to switch user to root. So sudo switch user dash. I'm now root. In order to make this work, you should have created a folder on the server, and the folder would be OPT and K3S. So let's go cd/opt K3S ls-la. And here are the 2 shell scripts that our playbook created. So we are going to use this one to create the primary master node of the Kubernetes cluster. So to do that, /ptab. It's a slow process because it's now connecting to the Rancher GitHub repository and it's downloading Kubernetes from the repository and it's installing it on my server. And I am using a Rocky Linux server for this. In fact, all my nodes are Rocky Linux servers. This takes a while, and that's the reason why I didn't create playbooks to run these shell scripts. I wanted to do them by hand. And you'll see this specific one, you have to do this one manually. It's now installed the software and it's starting it. This takes a half a minute. It's done. And now my shell script tells me to run this command. And this is important that you run this command, because every time you create a master node, or more specifically the primary master node, you get a unique token. This is my node token, and I now need to edit my project. So let me open my IDE. I'm using Atom for this. You could use VS Code. Now, in my project, there's a vars folder, and in there are 3 YAML files. So you can see there's the old we have to delete, replace, save, and this goes yellow. This means that I need to push it back into my Git repository. Delete, paste, save, save, Control S. Paste, save, and then the last one I need to update is this one. The shell scripts I generate on the servers has everything including the token, but we don't know the token at the time of creating the cluster. Now we do. So that's the reason for this step. Now that we've made changes to these files, I need to open the project. Let's go here. Projects. The one I want is this one. Open in terminal. Status. Edit. Right. Now I need to commit this. Git. Changed token. And now we need to push it. Git. And that's done. And now we can close this terminal, exit. And let's get back to our terminal. Now my project needs to pull the latest from the repository. So what I'm running in the semaphore server, I need to pull it. So I need to say git pull. And you can see it's now pulled it. And now that I've done that, I now need to run this playbook again. so that on the other servers they will have the correct token. And let's go now and open the terminal. This is now my cluster, primary master, so I should be able to run the kube control command, and you'll see it in the documentation here. We've run this command. Now here we can run it again. Copy. And this will tell us what the nodes are. So we can see we have our primary master node. I now need to open a new tab to the second master node. So open tab, SSH, nick m at 10.154.2.81. For your convenience, it's this one here, 381, IP81. So it's this one, sudo su dash cd slash opt K3S ls dash la. And now here we have a create master node. This is not the primary master node. Dot slash paste. This will take a while to run. This is now also pulling the GitHub project from the Rancher Lab GitHub site. It's installing that code, and when it's done, then it will start this code. As you can see, this is a slow process, and that's the reason I didn't want to make a playbook for this. I'll pause the video. This takes a while. Let's go and have a look here. And there we are. It created the primary master. And it created the second one. Giraffe is the second server. And now we need to open a new tab for the last one. File, open tab, and that is the worker node. .154.2.83. And that is this server here, 83. We need to upgrade to or switch user to root. Sudo su dash Now that I'm root, cd/opt K3S, enter, ls-la. And now here we have a shell script, create worker node, /, copy and paste. This is the slowest of the three. Now let's go and look at our cluster. And now you see we have Zebra. Zebra has got no roles. So this one is a worker. The second master node, you can see it has the role master. And then the primary one has the role master as well. So now we've created our Kubernetes cluster. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to destroy the cluster. I just want to go through our documentation. We've done this. We've created the worker. So now I need to go to the worker. You see, these are the commands you could run in the terminal, but I've already created the shell scripts for these. So if I go to the worker, that should be this one here, ls-la. So we can now destroy the /d tab, and I destroy them in the reverse order that I created them. So I destroy the worker. In fact, you destroy all your workers. And then we destroy the masters, ls-la. Now here we destroy all the masters. So we'll start in the reverse order again, /d. At this stage, we've destroyed our cluster, but we still have to destroy the primary master as well, or run the shell script, ls-la /d. And if I try to run kube control now, you'll see that it doesn't exist. So what have we done here? First of all, we created our Ansible scripts. We ran our Ansible scripts and we created the shell scripts that we needed to do the installation on the servers. We did not automate the running of the installation on the servers. Firstly, you have to do the primary master manually because, as you noticed, I had to copy and paste a token from that server into the code and then rerun this playbook that we ran here to create the shell script so that the other servers, other than the primary master, would now have the new token in the shell script. And with that, we've covered everything that we wanted to on this project. Thank you for watching this video until this stage. We really appreciate your viewership. Please leave us a comment and subscribe to our channel. We've been working this channel for a year and we have not reached the requirement of 1,000 users yet. We'd love to have you. And with that, over to you there, Josh.
We thank you for watching this video, delving into the transformative potential of Ansible on your Proxmox home lab, and extending our appreciation to Nico for his insightful demonstration of installing and utilizing this remarkable tool to create a Kubernetes cluster. Today's journey wasn't just about what Ansible in your home lab can do to use, but we showed a unique way of creating a K3S Kubernetes cluster, not shown before. We now recommend you look at the video linked below to help you get started your journey of installing Ansible as a VM in your Proxmox home lab. Your commitment to exploring Ansible's capabilities has been invaluable. Stay tuned for more insights, more automation, and more empowerment through the incredible tool that is Ansible. Please give us a like and leave us a comment, which we value, to get your feedback. Tell us what you would like to see in this channel. If you found value in this video, consider subscribing to stay updated with our latest content and tutorials. Subscribing ensures you never miss out on informative videos. For those eager to deepen their knowledge, we invite you to become a Patreon supporter. This exclusive opportunity grants access to upcoming training courses, enriching your expertise while supporting the channel. Patreon supporters will receive exclusive access to our training courses, helping you stay at the forefront of technological advances. We genuinely appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more enriching content with you. Stay curious, keep exploring, and continue harnessing the remarkable potential that Ansible offers in your home lab and DevOps automation journey. Thank you for being a part of our community.